Hey, what's up, you guys? National Novel Writing Month is over, and as I was writing this month, I was considering what made a character unlikable and what made a badly written character. So this got me thinking about one of the more divisive characters in a series that I love, Sasuke Uchiha. Now, before we begin, I think we have to ask the question, what is a bad or unlikable character? Some people might class them as a character who we don't agree with, someone who frustrates us as readers or watchers, or a character who, for whatever reason, keeps making bad life decisions. Now, I think people tend to get the terms unlikable and badly written mixed up. Just because we don't agree with a character's decisions doesn't mean that we can't be totally enthralled by them. Take one of my favourites, Light Yagami, for instance. He was a guy who, over the course of the series, killed thousands of people and destroyed his life as well as the lives of those around him. Was he unlikable? Sure. Was he a bad character? No. He was fascinating to watch. The same goes for the likes of Walter White from Breaking Bad. Now, not many people would argue that these guys are bad characters, granted, so why do a lot of Naruto fans still maintain that Sasuke is quote unquote a bad character? I think it begins with the fact that Sasuke started out as one of the good guys. A dark, brooding one who planned to exact revenge on his brother by killing him, but a good guy nonetheless. He was a cool, aloof genius with a heart of gold buried deep down who Naruto looked up to as an obstacle to overcome. As the series progressed, Sasuke became darker and more jealous of Naruto's perceived massive growth in strength, leading him to seek out Orochimaru in order to help him gain enough strength to achieve his goals, culminating in his battle with Naruto at the Valley of the End. When we meet Sasuke again in the second part of the series, he is totally changed, still aloof but much, much colder, willing to cut all ties with Naruto to become stronger and kill Itachi. Breaking away from Orochimaru, Sasuke forms Team Hebi to aid him in his quest, handpicked for their specific skill sets, an example of Sasuke's tendency to use people as tools. Throughout this arc, Sasuke is portrayed as cold and calculating, yet he retains softer and nobler elements, notably being unwilling to kill innocents, like he had been unwilling to kill Naruto in their battle years before, not wanting to follow in his brother's footsteps. A lot of people got the impression that Sasuke would kill Itachi, achieve his goal, and return to the Leaf Village to join up with Team 7 again. And I think this is where people began to get frustrated with his character. Upon completing his objective in killing Itachi, Sasuke learns that it has all been one giant ruse. Itachi wasn't the bad guy that he was made out to be. The Uchiha weren't as well respected as he believed. In fact, they were discriminated against and destroyed in a plot by the very village they protected. Sasuke's entire life had been a lie. I think Kishimoto handles this part of the story extremely well. When confronted with this knowledge, Sasuke loses his way completely. He doesn't know where to direct his anger or who to direct it towards, leaving him vulnerable to manipulation by Obito. He allows himself to be used as a tool to help instigate the Fourth Great Ninja War, as long as he can get his revenge on his new target, Danzo, one of the main culprits behind the slaughter of the Uchiha clan. At this point, Sasuke is blinded by rage and seeks to burden everyone else with the pain that he feels. His policy of not killing innocents has disappeared, as he sees anyone who is part of the failing shinobi system to be guilty by proxy, going so far as to use his teammate, Karin, as a distraction to finish off Danzo and get a thrill in killing him. Naruto will not give up on him, however, and Sasuke resolves to cut that bond once and for all. As Sasuke loses his sight during the battle with Danzo due to the overuse of the Sharingan, it's almost as if he is literally blinded by this darker path that he has chosen. Upon accepting the transplant of Itachi's eyes, Sasuke can see more clearly than ever before, and we see a subtle shift in his personality after he encounters a resurrected Itachi to take down Kabuto. He begins to question. Sasuke questions why Itachi hid the truth from him, why he had always been lied to by everyone around him, and why it was he who was left to live and suffer after the demise of everyone he had loved. This culminates in Itachi finally showing him the truth, and Sasuke is at last reassured of Itachi's love as he fades away. He continues on his quest for answers, resurrecting the previous Hokage in a bid to learn more of the history surrounding his clan and joining the war, declaring that his goal is to be the new Hokage, much to everyone's surprise. Again, Sasuke's motives are unclear to us at this point, as Kishimoto has not allowed us into his thought process, instead leaving us to rely on the wary reactions from the characters that surround him. Sasuke fights alongside Naruto, impressing everyone with their surprisingly effective teamwork, despite them having been at odds throughout the series, and after many trials, they put an end to the war. Finally, we might think it's over, that Sasuke will return to the village with Naruto, that they'll be able to work things out and be friends once again. Sasuke has other plans. He declares an end to the current system. He'll kill the Kage and put an end to the tailed beasts. The final battle between Naruto and Sasuke has begun. This is where Kishimoto gives us an insight into the way Sasuke views the world at last. His version of a Hokage will be a leader who bears the weight of the world's problems on their own shoulders. They'll serve as a threat to the world, as Sasuke will be the unopposed, most powerful person in it, and the world will unite under his orders. Essentially, he'll be a dictator and bring about peace through overwhelming force. Nobody will ever have to experience the pain that he has suffered because he won't allow it to happen under his leadership. This is probably the most comprehensive overview that we've had of Sasuke's worldview throughout the entire series up to this point, as Sasuke before this did not have a fully formed opinion on it, and if he did, he was unwilling to share it with anyone. But he can share it with Naruto, his one and only friend and rival. They exchange blows in a vicious fight until the final clash, both literally and metaphorically. The anime expands on this fight and change of heart as they travel through each other's memories, at last seeing things from the other's point of view. Sasuke experiences the ordeals that Naruto has had to go through, and everyone who stood by him, and how he supported them, and how they supported him in return, growing stronger all the time. At last, Sasuke accepts that bonds are not what makes someone weak. They strengthen and propel you forward. He admits defeat happily. Bleeding out from the loss of his arm, he is prepared to die and atone for his sins. Of course, Naruto has none of it, and convinces him to work together for a brighter future. For a period after this, Sasuke travels the world in true Western fashion, soul-searching and rejecting the prosthetic arm offered to him by Konoha, using the loss as a reminder to never fall into darkness again. Sasuke's journey was one of the most dynamic within the series. Not being the typical shonen protagonist, he was allowed to explore the darker aspects of his personality and the human condition. Like Madara and Obito before him, Sasuke was used by others for their own purposes and was stripped of his own agency, forced into a game he did not want to play. He suffered pain, loss, and was lied to his entire life. He fell into deep darkness and clawed his way back out with the help of the one person whose bond he could not sever, learning to trust, to love, and to be loved once again. So was Sasuke a bad character? I don't think he was at all, but that is just my opinion. I believe people had their own ideas as to where his story could have went, and when those expectations weren't met, they began to dislike the direction his character took. These unlikable characters, as they're called, can cut interesting and unconventional paths through a story because they do not have to conform to the more traditional hero archetypes set out by so many stories before. They make for some of the most memorable characters, with amazing growth, and provide talking points in stories for years to come. Often they'll have reasons for what they do, and the audience are left to empathise with and understand them, but not to condone their actions. And, in the case of characters like Sasuke, or Zuko from The Last Airbender, or Meruem from Hunter x Hunter, they can become some of your favourite characters in all of fiction. So writers out there, don't be afraid to write unlikable characters.